Welcome to the 75th episode of the Friday Nightmares podcast. I am one half of your hosting team, Heather Powell, coming to you today from Waterdown, Ontario, Canada. And with me, as always, is the man with the longest intro ever,
Mr. Smoke Show Crawford, coming to you from the town of Sports Creek, in the county of Genesee, in the state of Michigan, in the United States of America, in the North American continent, in the Western Hemisphere, on the planet Earth, in the Milky Way galaxy, fully vaxxed, boosted, and waxed, and ready to climax. And if you can, please get me wet and feed me after midnight. I'm the man with the glorious beard, aka Mother of Cats, aka the man with the humongous ego, aka Scott Housen, aka the man who is going to be hearing all about how Heather went to the UK for her special trip. Derp.
Why? First off, okay. Why do you have 4 fucking older watches on here? What world do you live in that you think you need to talk about 4 older movies?
Because some of these newer movies, I ain't gonna have really much to say about.
You know, I didn't know we were doing that. I included one older watch. I look like I didn't do anything. You're
Well, that's because you've been gone on
that's
vacation.
Not fair.
You've been on vacation, so you don't have to do anything. I wanted to carry the show this time for you.
Oh, well, it's finally, Scott. All we can say about that. Finally, about time. Actually, I was listening to our show when I was on the train in Europe, heading back from, England to Scotland.
Boy. Here we go, folks.
And I was staring at the beautiful coastal lines because the train happens to be right on the coast, so I could see the rolling hills of Scotland and the ocean as well, which is where Scott's gonna be in not even 2 weeks' time. So
yeah,
if you're listening, sorry,
2 weeks,
wait,
2 weeks.
Yeah, 2 weeks.
Yep, 2 weeks today. I will be I'll be landing in San Juan, Puerto Rico, probably about an hour earlier.
That's right. And when do you board the ship?
I will be boarding on Saturday.
Saturday? Nice. So as we have stated before, Scott will be away and Scott does all the editing. So we will release this episode. And then I guess it will be 3 or 4 weeks before our next episode will come out. Scott and I haven't broke up. Don't worry. Scott and I are never breaking up. Ever.
We're here forever to torment all of you.
It's like every stalker movie, like that movie. You remember that cheesy horror movie Swim Fan? And the chick obsessed with that guy who's a swimmer. Oh, it's really funny. I love that campy 2000 horror movie shit. So Scott will be away, and then we're hoping to have our sequel to our One Night Stand wrestling episode, One Night Stand 2, You Up, will be hopefully coming in March. We're going to have to set up a time to record with Tim Davis from the Horror for Dummies. Dummies of Horror. Fuck sakes. Dummies of Horror podcast. And Rob Humphrey from This Horror Life and Slasher Radio. So that was fun. We did that last time.
I was saying there'll be a lot to talk about with all the shit that's happened in the wrestling.
A lot of stuff has happened in wrestling, and we'll have a good chance to kind of... Tim really wanted us to get heated last time. What Tim doesn't understand is that I'm old and tired, and I don't have the energy to get as heated. Well, not about that. I do have the energy
God Lord.
to get heated where it counts. But yes, I have returned from my trip abroad, and I had a lovely time.
You drank were on a vacation? No.
I know, Scott, you're shocked. I know. Don't worry. I'll talk about my trip later. Don't you worry. I have lots to share, but I'll give the short version. Is that I watched some great live music, had some great drinks, hung out with some great friends, made some new friends who all lost their fucking minds when they found out I lived near Niagara Falls. So they Googled, we met new people. Well, not new people, but my friends' friends. And they Googled where my house was because they wanted to know exactly where I live. So I always say Toronto, Ontario, but that's not actually accurate. So they Googled it and they saw how close I was to Niagara Falls. And Scott, they all lost their living fucking shit. They couldn't believe that I lived an hour outside of Niagara Falls. And they thought that was the bomb dig. So, and then they saw I had a garage and they thought I was loaded. And then they thought I lived off of Lake Ontario. Yes, I have a garage. I am definitely not loaded. And I definitely do not live off Lake Ontario.
You might be getting loaded later, with the drinks.
Oh, yeah, it's Friday night. Of course I will be. But, like, yeah, that goes without saying. I also hope to get dick down this weekend, too. There's a lot of things I hope for every single weekend. Sometimes I get dick down, not as much as I would like, though. You know, Scott gets that. He wishes he got dick down more,
I'll
too.
say me, too. I wish I was getting dick down. Tim Davis.
Right? You know,
Tim.
and like...
Tim? Where are you? I need my Scott Crawford in me.
Oh man, Tim's so hot. Like he really is. Like I think I would be nervous if I met Tim in person. I think I'd just giggle like excessively, and you would have to talk to me because I just like he'd be like, "What's wrong with Heather? Did she get broken? Oh, it was just a long flight." And I'd be like sweating and stuff. Oh man, I would just look horrible. That's why Rob only likes girls under the age of 21, because he knows that between 19 and 21, they're impressed by small things because they don't know that there's things any bigger. But
oh my God,
I was referring to his height.
That's still not any better.
I know he knows I'm kidding. He knows I'm kidding.
Oh, for fuck's sake, he's the same height as me.
No, he's not. He's way shorter than you. There is definitely somewhere where goats are crossing a bridge and he is not protecting that bridge. There's no way you two are the same height. He looks way shorter.
I thought he said he was 5'7".
He probably is 5'7". I'm just being a shithead. It's just because like Rob doesn't want me, and because he doesn't want me, it really upsets me. Like, why don't you want me, Rob? You know I can't.
Don't you want me, baby?
Rob.
Don't you want me, Rob?
He like, how can we change the lyrics? Like, I was watching really shitty horror movies when I met you. That much is true. I recommended some Tubies and you hated them as well. But I can give you more now too. Love it. So as you guys could tell, 2023 has been a really great year so far for watches because we continuously have this bullshit session because we don't have a lot. Hopefully by the time Scott comes back, like everything will be out. Hopefully we'll have both seen Infinity Pool by then.
There's
fucking Blood and Honey possibly. Mm-hmm. That's it.
Good chance I'll be seeing Infinity Pool on Sunday. I'm looking forward to that.
Right. What else is coming out in February? Scream. That
March? March, I believe. March, actually, so. I have to say, I am kind of shocked, but I watched the trailer. I'm kind of digging what this looks like so far.
Oh, I'll watch it. Who am I kidding?
Yeah, I'll say I know I was going to watch it either way, but like right. I'm liking the route this is going so far. I'm like, all right, yeah, looks interesting.
Are you feeling it?
I'm kind of am. Let's just hope the plot is good.
Oh well, it's a Scream plot. You kind of know what it's going to be. Who's the killer? Is there two killers or is there one killer? Are they all mad because they don't like their horror movies anymore? And so meta. Oh my God, we're so meta. You know, so what happened
horror
to
fans
good old
be angry about now?
Oh man, no, there's no Halloween movie coming out this year, so no one's going to be that mad.
No, that's the plot of Scream 6. These killers are pissed about Halloween ends.
Oh man, Tim Davis would be in it. He'd be like leading the tribe. You know,
you don't want to spoil it. He might be the killer.
Honestly, it's like a trigger word. Halloween ends is trigger words.
I hear him already bitching and moaning over there. Yep, there he goes.
That's our Aussie.
Hot Jaws again.
He's like, oh my God, such a good movie. He's like, shut your fucking woke ass up, Heather. No one asked for your opinion. Rob's like, I wish Heather was in the kitchen making sandwiches. Like I sent him that really dirty video that one time of me making a sandwich. That was really funny. Yeah, I guess we should jump into these films, huh, Scott?
Yeah, might as well. Because we got
Unless you have anything else you want to talk about besides your tanning, you fucker. We had to wait for Scott to get home from tanning before we could start this episode today.
I missed a session on Wednesday.
Oh no!
Storm. I'm trying. Hey, look at underneath my.
Well, Brittany and Carly okay with you missing the session? I feel like there's two people named Brittany and Carly that run the place.
I mean, there probably is. Right. I mean, look how white my neck is compared to the rest of me.
Oh man, it's like you're from Alabama. And you just are like, Alabama, ma'am. You look good, though. You look like you won't die. That's good.
I'm hoping.
Final Destination, one of them is someone getting sun poisoning slowly. They died from it on the cruise.
I would be that one.
Oh, fuck. That's going to be the kill. Can you imagine? The longest Final Destination kill ever is this person slowly died of sun poisoning. Oh my gosh. Kind of reminds me of another movie we watched about people slowly dying of hypothermia, but we'll get to that, Jim. We're going to get to that, Jim.
Will we ever.
All right. So I guess, should I start, Scott, with our first one here?
Yeah, might as well.
All right. So not only this film was actually inspired from Scott and I, because let me assure you, there's something wrong with us, but there's also something wrong with the children. This is a 92-minute runtime. The synopsis says, Margaret and Ben take a weekend trip with longtime friends Ellie and Thomas and their 2 children. Eventually, Ben begins to suspect something supernatural is occurring when the kids behave strangely after disappearing into the woods overnight. So, Scotty, what do you think?
I thought this was actually pretty good. I seen the trailer for this is one of the ones I was looking forward to because I'd seen the trailer about a couple weeks back, and I always love like creepy kid films, not like the creepy ghost kids, but just like killer kids, just regular old kids. There's something creepy about that. And
like Scott and I, we'd be like evil Muppet babies for all those '80s kids that remember Muppet Babies. Scott and I would be the fucked up ones.
But yeah, I enjoyed this. You could definitely tell it was low budget because of a lot of like the things they showed in the shadows but did not show you in person. But I found
also how I do most of my bedroom nights. I show it in the shadow, not.
Jesus Christ.
Then you're really like, oh man, Heather has huge tits. Spoiler. They're not.
Wow. I don't even know where to go from there.
I'm sorry. That's why Scott's dog looks so big in the shadow.
That's just me doing shadow puppets.
He's like big ego. No, the humongous shadow puppets. Like Skinamarink 2. That's the movie that Scott's
Skinamarink 2. Watching paint dry.
Anyway, sorry. It's creepy children you like.
Yeah, I dug the concept of this one where they go into this they find this like old abandoned building and there's like a well. And then like weird shit starts happening. And while I found the parents, there was 2 couples, and the parents, I found them to be a little overreactive with some things.
Like a little over the top.
Yeah.
And what was with her ripped jeans? Okay, so spoiler.
I didn't even notice that.
Okay, in the opening scene, the mom has these jeans where her full legs are sticking out of them. What fucking 40-year-old woman walks around with jeans like that? No one, because we look like losers if we did that, all right? When you're 40, you don't walk around with jeans that a 20-year-old would be wearing because you don't look cool. You look like someone who's trying to be 20.
Heather, those may be her real jeans, and she may be in poverty, so she may not be able to afford nice jeans, okay?
You're right.
No shaming, okay?
I should be a little more socially conscious. You're right.
Yeah, for someone who is so woke.
That's true. I need to put my woke cap back on. Sorry.
But no, like, I thought the adults in this overreacted on both sides at certain points. But it also helped build a lot of tension because one of the couples is one that just never had kids, and the other one is obviously the parents of the kids. But I found this story to be very fascinating. The acting was good. The children were legit creepy, and I really dug their performances. So I definitely think this is worth the rental. It was a very fun movie. I give it about a 7.5 out of 10.
Yeah, you talked a lot. I thought it was fine for the beginning of the year. It was entertaining enough. I do like creepy kid movies as well, too. This one was done pretty good. I would say out of the ones that we watched, it was probably one of the more enjoyable ones. I don't know if it's going to make anybody top 10, but I do think if you're looking for something easy to watch, quick, at 92 minutes as well, we're not talking about something that's overstaying its welcome here. It's getting in and out, it's getting down and dirty, and then it leaves. Simple plot, easy to follow. If that sounds like something that you would like and you're into creepy kids, it is available on the iTunes, Google, Amazon, Microsoft Store, and Cineplex for those of us living in Canada. I would say a $4.99, $5.99 if what we're saying rental sounds good to you. It's a quality film. It is. Blumhouse, Jason Blum produced it. Is that Blumhouse guy? Yeah. Blumhouse was involved with this, so it's not too low budget. They had some money. Scott just likes things in the shadows.
Like my shadow puppet dick.
Your shadow puppet. We're gonna make a movie, but instead of Puppet Master, it'll be Puppet Shadow Dick.
Yeah.
Just like your shadow chasing everyone. Penis. I love it. All right, Scott, let's talk about this next one that's on the Shuttee.
All right. So the next one is Sorry About the Demon, which was released on Shudder last Thursday, a week ago. The synopsis is a young man struggling with a broken heart learns that his new place is full of restless spirits. That's pretty much a very simple synopsis. But yeah, it's a horror. For me, it was a horror comedy that tried too hard with the comedy. Like,
yeah,
I found it to be cute. Like, it was like a cute horror film. Like, it's nothing really scary. Had some funny moments, I will give it that. But it, like, some parts, it just felt like it was trying too hard. But all in all, thought it was okay. Like, I really don't have a lot to say here.
I think you were 100% right. This was a horror comedy that tried too hard to be clever and tried too hard to be. It's like they watched something like the documentary of When the Screaming Starts or Suicide Beginner Guide for Suicide, and was like, oh yeah, we could do the same thing, but we'll make the jokes really obvious and then we'll wink at the audience physically to let them know it's a joke. I feel like this is a good horror movie for younger kids, like maybe mid-teens to get into, early teens. Like, there's no real sexual stuff that happens in it.
Nope, nothing really horrifying either.
No, it's creepy and funny. There are parts that are funny. But I feel like you summed it up. It just tries too hard to be funny. It's like Scott and I. Tries too hard. So maybe if you like Friday Nightmares, you'll like this film.
Oh, but one thing I will say is, I thought the acting, they all did great job there.
Yeah,
I think it was just the script itself was trying.
Yeah, I thought the characters were endearing. Honestly, I thought everyone from the secondary to the main, like, it wasn't a bad film. I would say if you have Shudder, check it out. Just
easy watch.
Go into it not expecting like it to be like overly funny or overly scary, and I think you'll be okay. It's an average film. So it is available on iTunes, Shudder, AMC, obviously Shudder through Amazon, and DirecTV. I would say I don't think it's really worth a rental. I would say if you have Shudder, it's worth it. Yeah. Otherwise, I would say probably don't need to rent it. Just go over to your friend's house that has Shudder and watch it that way.
Yeah, that's a good way of putting it.
Right.
There we go.
Oh man, do you want me to introduce one?
Please do.
You want me to? Okay. This is Rob Humphrey's #1 movie of 2023. I want everyone to know. If you listen to This Horror Life, write into him and let him know how much you love this film. He'd love to hear from you. So, Snow Falls. This is an 80-minute runtime. The weather outside is frightful is the tagline.
Of course it is.
After a winter storm strands 5 friends in a remote cabin with no power and little food, disorientation slowly claims their sanity as each of them succumbs to the fear that the snow itself may be contaminated or somehow evil. This is a little bit pandemic horror. You hear a little bit on their way to the cabin about COVID.
I'll give it props there that they didn't run with the whole pandemic thing and rub it in our face. It was just like a little thing that was brought up, which I think is something that movies can kind of utilize the pandemic that way without feeling burnt out as a watcher.
Yeah, and I think that's a really good compliment to give Scott. I do think this described accurately what happens with hypothermia. I will say that as well. There were certain things that occurred that I was like, I watched enough documentaries about people that die on Mount Everest that a lot of the shit's legit. There's one scene particularly where someone strips down naked, and that happens because they think that they're burning up, but really it's their body going to the final stages of hypothermia. This was a low-budget film. Here's where I think I was a little more sympathetic to it than Scott and Rob. They didn't try to do anything fancy. They stuck with the idea of hypothermia and its crazy effects that it can have on you. And I thought that was good. I don't think it makes the film great by any extent of the imagination, but I think for a low-budget film, they looked at the situation and they said, what can we do that will possibly promote fear for some people, at the same time not push us over any kind of special effects? And I'll be honest, they did that well. The filming of this was quality. I do think they portrayed the effects of hypothermia well and what people will do. Now, Scott has some critiques.
Oh, boy, do I ever. All right, so I agree. They used a very simple concept. They didn't go fancy with it. However, the simple concept should have been done simply and answered and should have made sure that certain plot holes did not exist in this film. I don't want to spoil it, but dear God, I swear the characters' decisions in this film were along the lines of fucking Outback from 2020. If y'all remember that gem that we reviewed with Horror for Dummies Boys, or Dummies of Horror Boys. And these characters just made one dumb decision after another, and sometimes didn't even make a decision that would have saved their lives or at least prolonged the hypothermia. There's just I'm dumbfounded by some of these facts. I'm like, how did this? Why? How did you not go do that? Or why aren't you doing this? There are a million things that they had ways of keeping themselves warm, and they had a bunch of different ways to keep themselves warm, and they didn't choose to do any of them. And it drove
what Scott really wanted was an orgy, and he was pretty pissed off that nothing
heat
happened.
Works, people. I mean, body temperature, man, it fucking works. Start banging.
The temperature, the power would be out for 5 minutes before Scott and I would suggest an orgy to keep everybody warm.
Y'all want to get naked? Come on.
All right, let's all fuck. They'd be like, but the power will probably get regenerated. No, we have no other choice. This is the only way we're going to keep our body heat going.
I'm all so riled up about this. I had another thing that I was going to talk about in this damn movie. Now I cannot remember it for the life of me.
Because I talked about our orgy that we're going to have.
As I was rambling on about just my frustrations with the plot. But yeah, this irritated.
But when you argue that there's lots of movies, like every slasher characters make.
Oh, they're making dumb decisions, yes. But it's like these people just said, "Oh, power went out. Oh, it's been 24 hours without heat. Oh, we're dead. We're hypothermiated. No, not going to do anything else about it." It's like, seriously? For fuck's sakes, you have a car in the goddamn driveway full of gas. You could have ran to the car and sat in there and turned the heat on.
I think
you're around the woods. You could have broken branches off of trees, dried them, and threw them in the fucking fire that you have a fireplace for. Ah!
Yeah, I without giving spoilers, I think your points are valid, and I think they had thoughts of why that wasn't a thing, but I understand what you're saying, and I'm not defending the film. Trust me, I'm not going to end up anywhere on my list.
This is Heather's number one.
It's mine and Rob Humphrey's number one movie of 2023, but I feel like they, it's low budget, and I could tell that it was low budget, and it was someone's first kick at the can, and I always have a little bit of a soft spot if I feel like it entertained me enough. I was curious to see what the outcome would be.
Yeah, I'll say
I cared enough to see what was going to happen, and to me, that's good enough for me. There's some movies I watch where I don't give a fuck what's going to happen. I actually cared here. I did care.
I'll say I think I was the exact opposite, where I'm just like, I don't give a fuck about any of these dumb. These people are so dumb, they deserve to fucking freeze. You can't even think of simple ways to keep yourself warm. Come on.
You fuckers need to die.
Like I said, these people reminded me of the people of Outback, and I didn't give a fuck. Shit, they might as well just started drinking windshield washer fluid too, for fuck's sakes.
Oh, see, I thought it was better than Outback, but that's fair. I respect your opinion. So if Scott and I's raving reviews make you want to rent this bad boy, you can find it on iTunes, Google, Amazon, Microsoft Store, and YouTube. And the movie is Snow Falls.
Yeah.
Well, you found this one.
Yes, I am going to Tubi for the synopsis because this one is not available on Letterboxd. Two of the movies I have.
That's how recent and fresh we are on this podcast, everybody. We find movies on Tubi that are even
Now let's rephrase that. Yet. Let's rephrase that. Scotty is so desperate for 2023's, he will dig through the dredges to see what he can find.
So if this is the time, so the point is that January 2023, Scott and I are desperate. So if you're looking for something quick and easy, wink, wink, nudge, nudge, Phil Ray, I'm looking at you.
Phil Ray, I'm also looking at you, baby.
Yeah, we're both looking at you. Give us a call. Though Phil could have his pick, in all fairness. He's super fucking hot. So it's not like, it's more like us begging for an opportunity than like Phil begging for an opportunity. Let's be real. But anyway.
All right, so the movie I'm going to talk about, did you end up seeing this one?
Oh, I sure did.
Okay. All right, so the film is The Haunting of Julia Fields. A young woman from a small town moves out on her own for the first time, only to realize something sinister lurking inside her new home. Now, this...
It was Scott.
Yeah. Now, I ended up looking into this, but this is, it says it's based on true events, and I ended up looking into it a little bit, and yeah, it did have some true, like, it is tied to a true event.
Oh, seriously? Cool.
Yeah. But this is where I'll say I give a little slack to this film because it's low budget and really didn't try anything super crazy with its budget. It's not great, like it's very middle of the road.
Oh yeah.
But at the same time, I did not hate my time with this one. It was fine. The acting was okay. Yeah, there were some plot issues. I like minor plot issues I had or here and there, like, or things I was kind of questioning, but I kind of liked the little twist at the end that was revealed. Mm-hmm. And I thought the landlord in this was very off-putting at times. And
he was creepy as fuck.
Yeah, like I was kind of unnerved by him. So like in general, if you are looking for a movie on Tubi, this is definitely one I'd like. If you're looking for just something just easy to watch, this one, it's on Tubi. It's free. Why not?
Now Rob's going to watch it.
Yep, Rob, just know it's nothing spectacular. It's very middle of the road. I warned you. I fucking warned you. It's recorded. Don't try to pull this shit with me later when you're like, you recommended it.
You said it was your number one movie of the year. No, I can't watch it because it came out in 2022 at a film festival. So that means it's 2022.
Oh, right.
You know, it's how he rolls. But I think for a Tubi watch, and I agree, for a low budget, kick at the can, it's not bad at all. Like, it isn't. It's something that very much you and I would watch, but I would say the average viewer wouldn't watch. But if you're interested in low budget, you want to make your own film one day, I think this is worth your time. It's free on Tubi, you know, and it's pretty quick. I think it's an hour and a half or around 90-minute runtime. So you're not looking at
an hour and 10 minutes.
Oh, so less than that. So, you know, they kept it short and sweet too, which was smart.
Yeah.
And you're gonna have to do the next one because I didn't watch this one, and then I'll do the last one.
Oh boy, you are so lucky.
Yeah, you told me not to, so I didn't.
All right. So while Heather was away on her vacation, Scotty continued to dig through the trenches and try to find what he could on the wonderful Tubi app. Surprisingly, also a lot of movies that are popping up on there that are 2022 that I've never seen before, so they could be considered 2023. I just don't know. I tried looking up, couldn't figure it out.
Yeah.
The Haunting of Julia Fields was one of them that showed up as 2023. This one also showed up as 2023, and it is an anthology movie called The Lost Chronicles. I'll see if I can find a synopsis for this one because once again, this is another one that is not on Letterboxd either.
Again, only here on Friday Nightmares can you hear these early releases of excellent 2023 horror films.
Damn right. So here is the synopsis for this. The terror begins for several individuals whose nightmares involving stalkers, murderers, and monsters start to creep into their waking reality. Whew. This was a struggle to get through.
Oh, yeah? That bad, huh?
Oh, this is just above Sharkula for me. Just above. Like,
where is it compared to Weredeer?
Oh, Weredeer is a fucking top tier fucking low budget film. This is nowhere near that shit.
This isn't even a Weredeer quality.
Yeah, it's nowhere even near that. This is closer to Sharkula quality. And no, this was just really bad. The acting was extremely painful. The effects were extremely painful. The stories were very generic and very just painful. Everything about this was I struggled to give this a 1 out of 5. Like,
wow, that says something when you have to struggle to give something a 1.
Yeah, it's not good. Do not like it. It's free on Tubi, but that does not mean you have to watch it. I did it for you folks. Don't do it. I mean, I always want to give props to filmmakers and all that stuff, like independent filmmakers, and encourage them to continue. So I hope the filmmakers for this do continue and do practice and learn and get better. But there is just so much wrong with this that I just cannot recommend it.
Well, the honesty is refreshing. So thank you, Scott, as always, for bringing your honest opinion to the table.
Oh, you are so welcome.
You're a hero.
I struggle for all of y'all.
You're a hero, Scott. A hero.
And not all heroes wear clothes.
That's right. Some of them just walk around with their dong out. So
yeah, I'm a tripod.
Now, speaking of my favorite board game ever, we have a new movie. It is called Candyland. And it is
not Candyman. Oh, sorry.
Candy Cane. Yes. Only this is called Candyland. And it is a 93-minute run time. Shout out to Tim Davis from the Dummies of Horror podcast, who suggested this to us in the chat group that we have, and I found it today. So thank you, Tim. This movie's tagline is "We'll take care of you." Remy, a seemingly naive and devout young woman, finds herself cast out of her religious cult. With no place to turn, she immerses herself into the underground world of truck stop sex workers. Under the watchful eye of their matriarchy and enigmatic local lawman, Remy navigates between her strained beliefs and the code to find her true calling in life. Very interesting movie. I feel like people either love this movie or hate this movie. I feel like there's going to be very few in betweens. I know Tim Davis gave it a 4-star here, and I don't know if I'd be as high as he is on it, but I think what really stands out on this film is there's some great gore. There's some very funny lines that are delivered, very well acted, very engaging. You care very much for the characters throughout it. And I do think this is a movie that some people may have in their top 23 list or top 30 list. So I do think it's worth watching. It is available on iTunes, Google Play, Microsoft Store, Cineplex for all our Canadian friends out there, and YouTube. And the movie is called Candyland. And I think if you like gore with a little bit of, it kind of reminds me of like Glorious in a little bit of a sense because it's located in one spot.
Okay.
And there's some great gore in it. It is not sci-fi. It is very much like just violence, straight out violence, and pretty good. There's some boobies, lots of boobies. There's some VJJ.
Hence why I did not watch this yet, because I was at work.
Yes, there was a lot of nudity. No dick.
No dick.
But you know, can't always help a girl out. So, but yeah, it was definitely worth it. I think this is a movie that some people will really enjoy this year, and I definitely think it's worth checking out. But be aware, it is very graphic in the sexual sense and the violence sense. So, if you get a chance, check that bad boy out.
I will definitely be trying to watch this one soon.
Good.
But I think that is the end of our 2023s.
It is. So somebody here brought 4 fucking older watches that he needs to talk about. So why don't you go through them right now?
Okay. Well, I'll start off with the last 2 I mentioned.
Not the other one?
Was that?
Oh, you're not going to go with the first one that you talked to me about on the phone?
I'm going to save those 2 for last.
Oh, you're going to save that for the last? Okay.
Yeah. But let me bring them.
I threw you off?
Yeah, like I didn't expect to be going right away. So here we go.
Well, I talked, so you should talk for these 4 movies that you need to talk about.
That is fair. All right. So I been on a, once again, to be watching machine, like just watching whatever, and this one was recommended to me by the lovely woman that I am dating. The movie is called what?
Plot twist! Oh my god! I can't believe you just dropped that on the podcast. Oh, now I can talk about it. Yeah, Scott has a lovely friend who's showing him what good movie. I hope this was a good movie.
Yes, this one was.
See, this chick knows what's going down. That's why.
But yeah, she had recommended to me a movie called The Monster Project, which was because she knew I love found footage, and I've been kind of digging through Tubi. And this one is from 2017, when aspiring horror filmmakers post an online casting call looking for real-life monsters to interview for their upcoming documentary called The Monster Project. they find 3 individuals claiming to be a skinwalker, a vampire, and a demon. Meeting these monsters at a remote mansion in the woods on the night of a total lunar eclipse, the filmmakers invite the 3 subjects to share their haunting personal experiences. Working on the crew is a recovering drug addict who suffers withdrawal and paranoia, and as a person of faith, he fears his friends underestimate the dark powers they are summoning. When the interviews turn deadly, he must battle the demons inside and out to escape the house and defeat the rise of evil incarnate.
Shit, that sounds pretty good.
Yeah, this was actually a pretty damn fun found footage film. Like, I had a blast with this one. I think all the characters did really well. There's like this main character that you think's gonna be like the main person you're following, and you're kind of like, man, you're not liking him, and there's a good reason for that. And like, it all plays out in a very cool way. Like each character in this was very fascinating. It had some very creepy moments. Kind of almost gave me I'm trying to think, like, because it's all like almost, and it's all in a like dilapidated creepy ass old house, and like a lot of shadows are being used and the darkness is being used to like kind of reveal the monsters look freaking creepy and scary. Like, I legit just had a great time with this, and yeah, for another found footage film that I had not seen, that I am adding to the list of ones that, hey, I am loving this genre even more.
That's
like,
awesome.
I recommend it, and it's on Tubi right now.
It's on Tubi. So that is The Monster Project 2017. It is available on the Tubi. Tubi.
Then the other one that I ended up coming across on Tubi. Excuse me.
Oh, sorry. Scott's blessing himself right now. He has sneezies. All the sneezies. Now we gotta wait. He's gonna sneeze one more time. It's coming. It's like a found footage film waiting for Scott to sneeze. No, wait. There we go. Our new Exorcist film.
Yes.
Scott and I would be horrible with an exorcism. We totally would fuck it up.
Oh, we would.
It would be like, I'm just leaving out a principle because you two fucked this up so badly that I don't even want to possess this person anymore. Thanks for ruining it. And we're like, Dobby!
Somehow I'd end up getting possessed.
Oh, yeah. And then you would think you were sexier than you already are. Oh, my God. Your poor lady friend. I won't give her name, but until you do. But your poor lady friend. She'd be like, God. Oh, my God.
She already does that around me.
Oh, does she? Well, I bet she does it anyway. Can you tell it's been a while? No.
Good Lord.
Such a slut. It's true. No wonder Rob doesn't like me. He's like, Heather, you're wasted goods.
Oh, for fuck's sakes.
Jesus Christ.
Can I get on with the movies?
Yeah, sorry. Well, you were sneezing. We're on to which one are you talking about now? The Murder Podcast?
Yeah.
2022?
Yeah, I was going to say, the next one that I ended up watching, this one I ended up just kind of stumbling across on my own. It says it's 2022, so I don't know if this came out last year and I just didn't hear about it, or if this is one that just kind of quietly got dropped this year. I'm not sure. But yeah, the Murder Podcast. 2 amateur podcasters start investigating a murder in their hometown only to become wrapped up in a terrifying adventure full of supernatural threats.
Ooh, sounds fun.
Yeah, this was a horror comedy that actually hit. It was pretty damn funny.
Nice.
And this was just this actually nailed the podcasting or podcasters more accurately.
Oh, did it show like a bunch of losers like us sitting in their like computer rooms and shit?
Well, they for sure are losers. I wouldn't say all of us podcasters are losers. Some of us are way cooler than the others.
Okay.
Tim Davis. Rob
Humphries. Yeah, like anyone's better than Tim and Daniel and Rob Humphries.
No, I'm saying they're the best ones.
Oh, yeah, me too. I was thinking that too.
But no, where other podcasts were movies about podcasters, they seem to be in this big old like Joe Rogan radio station style setup.
So like Exploding Heads.
Yeah, like
like Dave the Inquisition.
Yeah, instead of Exploding Heads tier, these guys are more of the Friday Nightmares tier. Recording in their basement.
Nice.
Recording in the basement. Guys, they decided to do a podcast on ramen noodle taste testing at first.
Oh, nice. Actually, that sounds kind of fun.
And just getting like single-digit downloads. So they're like, we need to do something that'll get us attention. Let's do like a true crime podcast. And then they start going like, because this murder happens or this accident happens in their town. And they're like, that can't be an accident. We need to investigate this. And it's just silly shenanigans these two get into while trying to like solve this and create a podcast at the same time. It's very funny. It's very silly.
Nice.
Has some really creepy moments with some of the supernatural stuff that ends up happening in it as well. Like, I definitely recommend this one. This was like an 8 out of 10. A lot of fun. Like,
sounds like a fun one.
I meant to message you and just tell you need to watch this because it was fun. It was.
Oh well, you told me now.
So yeah, you'll have to watch it and let me know.
I will.
And that one is also on Tubi, and then the next two are also on Tubi, and this is the ones that I saved for last because the woman I am dating, we decided to do a.
Can we call her like a special name, like the Beautiful Lady? Or something like that.
Oh, I'm happy to call her the Beautiful Lady.
Let's call her the Beautiful Lady. Did you hear that, Beautiful Lady? I came up with that name.
The Beautiful Lady. I almost said Beautiful Larry.
That's your other date that you have. Don't mess up the two of them, Scott.
Larry's gonna be pissed.
Does she listen? Does she listen?
She does.
Oh, isn't it? So she's gonna know how nice I am now to her. Be careful, Scott. I'm gonna be
She's going back to older episodes now, so she may hear how you truly are towards me.
Oh shit! Okay, never mind. She's not gonna be tricked then. Okay, fair enough.
But her and I decided to do movie night virtually, and we FaceTimed. And she watches a lot of stuff on Tubi as well as I do, so we decided to each of us try picking a movie that neither of us have seen, and just hope for the best. The one that I ended up choosing was called Werewolf Rising, which was released in 2014. The synopsis is, desperate for a break from big city life, Emma heads to her family's cabin deep in the Arkansas hills. As she settles in for some much-needed R&R, she learns that something unspeakable lurks in the surrounding darkness. As the full moon rises, a bloodthirsty werewolf emerges from the shadows, slaughtering everyone in its path and revealing a sinister underworld Emma never knew existed. Thrown into a fight for her life and her very soul, Emma will need to escape these big bad woods before it's too late.
Fuck yeah, Emma.
Oh God, this fucking movie. I chose poorly for this movie night. But it made for some good laughs and us making fun of the film. It does star Bill Oberst Jr., which he is definitely in a lot of like lower budget horror films. But this one had a very cheesy looking werewolf. So Tim, don't even bother. You will not be entertained with this one and you'll probably hate it. But there were so many just dumb decisions that I'm just like, what? How? And weird editing decisions that also made me go, what? How? It just a lot of what's and how's in this movie. And it just left me scratching my head. I wouldn't really bother with this one. I found it just to be very, very just mediocre and
and average at best.
Yeah, but the Beautiful Lady chose one, and whoo boy was this one something.
I just wanted Beautiful Lady to know that I made up that name. And if you want my phone number, I can send it to you off air.
I'll message her and let her know that you gave her this nickname.
Yeah, tell her.
I will. But the movie that she ended up choosing, because it just kind of was recommended because we were on finished off a werewolf movie, was Curse of the Queer Wolf from 1988. The synopsis is, after being bitten by what he thinks is a transvestite, Larry starts having nightmares about hillbillies, ominous visits from an old gypsy woman, and having the strangest reactions to the full moon. Oh dear God, this movie was so 80s. And I don't know if this was made to be offensive in the way that, 80s films are offensive in certain ways just because, it's from the 80s and not now modern day standards. So I don't know if it was making fun of the LGBTQ community or not. So it's hard to tell, but I still couldn't laugh at the ridiculous things that were happening in this film. It's just so cheesy. It did not take itself seriously. I was in tears laughing. I mean, I just gotta talk about one scene that I lost my shit, and that was when the main character comes home from the club to his wife and gets in bed, and she's like, "Hi, honey, I missed you," or whatever, and he's like, "Oh, I missed you too," and then he lifts the bed sheets and goes to slide down like he's going to go down on her, and then you just hear, and the girl going, "Oh yes, yes," it's just like him gargling and making these weird ass noises. I fucking lost my shit. Like, this was Oh, it was so bad. Like this whole movie is so bad, but in such like it's one of those where it's so bad it's highly entertaining.
So
Like
bad it's good.
yeah, like oh my god, like I say, it's from the '80s, so once again, what they're like the queer wolf thing and the transvestite thing and all that. Who knows? It's like I don't know if it was made by somebody in the LGBTQ community, and this is just like their perspective
Yeah, like
on
if
their life.
anybody knows, maybe let us know because
Yeah,
we are curious.
I know our good friend Xander Kane watched it. Like I seen he had it reviewed on Letterboxd.
Yeah,
Xander,
Xander's smart. He'll know.
yeah, so let us know, Xander. But
Yeah, Xander,
yeah,
you're the only smart one here out of the three of us, so we expect you to tell us.
and
And the
you are
beautiful lady might know, but she's not here.
well.
So
Her and I were both questioning that, like wondering.
see, I was trying to make her look smart.
Oh, she is smart. She's way smarter than I am.
Well,
I'm trying to give that as a compliment here,
look,
Heather. Come on now.
I know. Well, you are brilliant and handsome.
Oh,
Oh, you,
oh,
you. Well, let me get to my one movie that I brought, like we always do, because I follow the rules.
I was carrying the show because someone was in the UK.
Someone went on vacation.
When I go on vacation, you're allowed to bring several older movies when we record when I get back. I'll allow it. I will allow it.
It's so nice. I love it when men allow me to do things. Thank you, Scott.
I'm learning from you.
I love it, Scott. Oh, man. All right. So I was listening to our good friends at Dummies of Horror, right?
Yep, you got to write that down.
Yeah. Okay. And Tim Davis released an episode of his top 10 Aussie films for Australian Day. And I was listening like a good Patreon does. And he talked about an Aussie movie called The Tunnel, 2011. He also talked about The Boys in the Trees. And I swear to God, I can't even find that movie to fucking rent.
I've been trying to find that movie forever. And
oh my God. Like, if anyone knows, I will pay whatever needs to be fucking paid to watch this movie. But I cannot find it even to rent in Canada.
Yeah, actually, I'm going to look on Letterboxd to see if it's anywhere in the U.S. while you're talking.
Yeah, because anyway. So, The Tunnel, 2011. So he talked about how this was a found footage movie about the tunnel system under Sydney. And I guess Tim used to take the trains. And this movie really creeped him out. So I was like, well, maybe I can find it. Sometimes it's really hard to find those movies. So I was looking it up. I couldn't find it anywhere. Lo by behold, I guess they got funding to put it for free on YouTube. So I guess whoever supported them in making this film allowed them to put it on YouTube. So I was able to watch it. Great little found footage film. Really great found footage film. I'm familiar enough with subway systems. I got to say the ones in the UK are far superior to what we have in North America, with the exception of Scott took off his headphones, everybody. Now he's got to put it back on, so that should be... And he took off his glasses. I don't even know if he's coming back on or not. That was funny, Scott. That was funny. With the exception of, like, New York City is the only other place I've been where I could kind of compare it to this. Because I've traveled a lot. I'm really well traveled. He took his earphones off again. Anyway.
For fuck's sake.
So, but this is about a 90-minute runtime. It's free on YouTube. It's a great found footage. Dave C., I'm talking to you. I don't know if you've seen this found footage film. It is an Aussie film. It's great. I think for found footage, it was very entertaining. The characters were endearing. Do I think it's the best found footage film out there? No. But can I see why it would creep someone the fuck out, especially if they used to be taking those train tunnels? Because yeah, it's creepy. So I definitely recommend it. It's called The Tunnel, 2011. You can find it on YouTube.
And I looked up The Boys in the Trees. Released on Letterboxd for the US. It's available on iTunes, Google Play, and YouTube. That's it.
I'll have to check because it's not available for me anywhere.
Yeah, I'm shocked it's not even on Amazon. That's kind of shocking.
Right. So I'm going to search iTunes. Sometimes when I can't find anything, it's on iTunes, and I'll pay fucking $10 to watch this film. I've heard nothing but good things.
And I've unfortunately do not have an iTunes account anymore, so I cannot do that.
Oh, it's because Darren Wilson sabotaged that too.
Once again, yeah, folks, we found out. Darren admitted it. He hacked my account, my Amazon account. It's Darren's fault. We knew it. I didn't want to believe Heather, but she was right. Darren, you're breaking my heart, man.
So if you want to listen to Darren Wilson more, you can listen to the Psychosemantic podcast that's available on the Legion Podcast Network and hear more about his anti-government views. So, as Kenny, he's not anti-government, but he is a very smart man that everyone should be listening to. Way too smart. That's why we don't have it on the show anymore, because we can't handle it. We don't have better looking people on the show. That's why Scott's beautiful ladies never coming on, because we like to keep the bar low on this show. We can't be outshined. Like, it's bad enough they have Tim Davis and Rob Humphreys on and their studness on with us. Like, I can barely keep myself straight during those episodes. I have to drink just to get through because I'm so flabbergasted.
You have no idea how many times I whacked off when I was trying to edit that wrestling podcast. I freaking drained myself dry.
Happens, right?
So hearing their sultry voices. Sultry voices. Bite my fist.
You don't come to Friday Nightmares for the movie talk. You come here to hear Scott and I be inappropriate for an hour-long time. So if you've stuck with us this long, thank you. We're glad that you appreciate us.
And also, we're sorry.
No, I'm not sorry. Sorry, not sorry.
I'm sorry.
Scott's sorry. I'm not sorry. As a Canadian, I apologize for too much as it is. So we've given you some older watches and we've given you some newer 2023s. As I said, we will be back later on at the end of February. By that point, some big hitters will have dropped, and hopefully Scott and I have had the chance to check them out, and we'll be able to talk a little bit more about some possible ones being in top 10s. I think Infinity Pool is probably a very high likelihood to be in the top 10. Yeah. It's looking really, really good. So we'll see what happens. In terms of what's new, as we've talked about to death, I did recently just arrive back on Tuesday.
Here we go, folks. Buckle up.
From my trip to England and Scotland. I have friends in Newcastle who I went and stayed with. Just so we're clear, when you fly over to England or Scotland or Ireland, you fly on a red eye. And I thought it'd be a good idea to take a red-eye flight.
I guess it's better than flying on a brown eye.
Yes, it's true. This is true. And then I flew into Dublin, and then I had a layover for about an hour, and then flew into Edinburgh, and then I took the train from Edinburgh to Newcastle. 5 out of 5 do not recommend. I was fucking exhausted, and that wasn't the best move I've ever done. Anyway. But I did go and do a tour of Edinburgh Castle, which the name is very misleading because it's actually a fortress. And it was a fortress that was built around the 900s. And it was meant to protect Scotland from England, who was trying to invade. So some very dark history in this fortress. And the one new thing I wanted to bring in is one of the things that they have redone and reopened in the fortress is the prisoners of war area. So this is where they kept prisoners. And they kind of have it set up to how it would have looked like when prisoners were there and have conversations that would have occurred that you hear as you're walking through. And let me tell you, it is creepy as fuck. There was one room where I went into where the king felt that 2 people were going to deceive him and had them beheaded in front of him. And I was the only one in this room. It was down this steep stairway. And Scotty knows I believe in ghosts and I believe in all that shit. And I could not get out of that fucking space fast enough. Like, it was fucking disturbing when I was listening to the story in this dark cellar, hearing what was going on. So a lot of dark history during that time of Scotland and England and their battles that they had, and people being kept in these really shitty, damp, depressing, cold, dark conditions, and who knows what violence and stuff occurred. True horror. I think when we think of medieval times, we think of like, oh, these beautiful castles and that's what I thought anyway, these dining halls and princesses and kings and queens. But there was a very big dark side that came with all the monarchy and standing and keeping that together. And it was these fortresses that had these prisoners where people were kept. So it was a very interesting experience to see where they were held and the kind of the dark, gloomy conditions that they were kept in. Finally, the only other cool thing is I went into the oldest pub in Newcastle. So the oldest pub that has been recorded still, I think it was made in the 1700s, was originally 1800s. Definitely felt some presence in that bitch. Went to the washroom and I was like, oh yeah, there's shit going down in here. Like, you can just feel the because like some of the walling is still original and all that kind of stuff. So it was very, very cool. So that was kind of what's new for me. And what's going on with you?
Yeah, so all joking aside of me being like, oh God, I'm tired of hearing about your trip, blah, blah, blah. That is awesome.
I actually don't talk about my trip that much.
No, I just love to amplify it, just like I do everything on this show.
But Scott was one of the few people, so I kept it there quiet. I didn't post anything on Facebook. I'm kind of getting away from posting on Facebook. I only kept in contact with a handful of people, Scott, of course, being one of them. I think we messaged every day, either once or twice a day, or I would send you pictures of things if I thought they were, relevant. I went to a metal bar. That was pretty cool. That was fun. But yeah, no, I know you're going to have a great time on your trip too when you go, and we'll get to talking about Vacation Horror in a little bit, but you have something to bring for what's new.
Yeah. So, this has a brand new series that came out on HBO Max. It is based off of the video game The Last of Us, and the name of the series is The Last of Us. And The Last of Us is a horror video game that has two different games under its name so far. And it's got this very just in-depth, very adult, dark story. Like, it's just very heavy with a lot of themes. So this was a really good game to decide to adapt to television or the big screen. And the concept around this is it's basically about a zombie outbreak that happens, but the thing that is unique about this is that the infection of this virus did not come from no disease or anything like that in turning people into these undead walking nightmares. Now, what it is the mushroom or the fungi called the cordyceps, which is known for taking over insects, minds, and bodies, and then like sprouting.
Oh yes.
It is basically a what if scenario. These things were able to take over human hosts and turn them into like mindless creatures that infected others. And the zombies at first, like, they're not considered zombies. They're called clickers in this movie or in this series. But at first, they do look like regular old zombies, except for one little touch they added in the TV series that I like. I didn't notice it in the video games, but when they are like biting someone else, they have like these tendrils coming out of their mouths that are the the fungus coming out and like infecting others. And as years go on, this infection, spreads through your entire body until you basically just become attached to something and just sprout all this fungus.
That's crazy.
There's clickers that are running around that are just like half mushroom, half monster humanoid creatures.
It's pretty cool, actually.
Yeah, it's fucking creepy. But yeah, it follows the main characters of Ellie and Joel, who is Ellie is someone that has the virus, but she doesn't seem to be showing any signs and is possibly carries the cure in her body. And Joel is the one that is protecting her from all these people that are trying to get after her. And it's like this story that it's like almost like a road movie in a way, where they're just like trying to like just live with each other and survive through all this shit. I've only seen the first episode, but my God, they did such an amazing job. They have hit up certain story beats just in this first episode of like what I remember from the very first video game, like even to the point where like some of the architecture looks the exact same. They have Pedro Pascal, who is well known for his performance as Prince Oberyn from Game of Thrones. He plays Joel, and they did a damn good job of making him look like Joel from the video game. Ellie is also played by, I forget her, I think Bella Ramsey is her name, the actress. And she also played in Game of Thrones. And yeah, she's playing the role of Ellie. She does not look the role of Ellie as she does in the video game, but she is an amazing actress. So like it just makes up for it.
She's nailing it anyway. It's all good. Yeah.
And yeah, so far, just one episode in, I'm like, fuck yeah, I am invested. And apparently episode 2 just released last Sunday, and that's available for me to watch now, so I'm going to check that out. But I've been hearing great things about that. And apparently it's doing so well, it's already at like 1.5 or something million viewers. And already season 2 has been greenlit.
Booyah. Nice to hear. More horror stuff coming out. Options, good TV series.
And a adaptation of a video game that's actually good.
Which you don't see often.
Yeah, there's not very many.
No, there isn't. So there's some stuff to check out. I don't know if you're in Edinburgh, go to Edinburgh Castle. Probably more realistically, watch the series on HBO.
Either one sounds worth it.
Either one sounds worth it. Now, because Scott and I are travelers of the world and very so worldly, for our Out of the Dark topic, I wanted to talk about vacation horror. Now, I know we've talked about this in the past, but we're talking about it in a more informal method. We're just talking about vacation horror films that we love, maybe even guilty pleasures that we have. Because if Scott's seen my list, he knows there's some motherfucking guilty pleasure shit on this list.
I sure have. And I didn't share a list with you because I was being lazy and didn't really get a chance to write anything down. But okay. I have movies pulled up that I'm looking at right now that I'm going to be talking about for sure.
Coolio. Well, I'm going to start off with my first 3 favorite ones. And I like all 3. Even the one where they go to fucking Vegas and you can tell it's not really Vegas. It's just some fucking like city and they pretend it's Vegas. And that's motherfucking Hostel 1, motherfucking Hostel 2, and motherfucking Hostel 3. I like all 3 of the Hostel movies. I think they're enjoyable. Yes, 2 is probably my favorite and what I think is the best one. I do like the first one too, quite a bit, and the third one is kind of campy, but I love how they go to Las Vegas and they end up in this like fucking seedy sex kind of realm and torture realm. Like I love the whole concept of these Hostel movies where like rich people just pay to torture people. And I think it's actually quite brilliant. I've always thought it was a good vacation horror movies. Like it always like backpacking across Europe and shit happens to these people and they get tortured and shit. I don't know. Do you like these films, Scott, or is it just me?
I didn't mind the first 2. I'd never seen part 3.
You should watch it. I wouldn't mind hearing your thoughts on it. It's not horrible.
Yeah,
it's easy to watch.
Yeah, I'll probably watch it at some point just because I'm still doing the first time watches. And the first one I just have an issue with the main characters because they're such like asshole unlikable
they're
characters.
Dicks. Yeah, they're dicks.
But I enjoy what happens to them.
Yeah, and like I like where he goes back and he has that character turn and he saves a chick, or he tries to. Like he tries not to be a douchebag, the one guy at the end. And I like the chick in the second one, how she fucking is like, no, I got fucking money. It's done. And like turns the fucking tables because she comes from means. But he doesn't realize that she has that like trust fund or whatever it is. I always like that fucking ending. I thought that's really badass, right? A movie that's not that popular with the exception of the opening scene. And the opening scene is really the only part that is a vacation is Ghost Ship 2022. I didn't mind Ghost Ship 2002. I didn't mind Ghost Ship 2002. The opening scene's the only kind of vacation part because they're on a cruise liner. But I like it. I don't know how you feel about Ghost Ship.
I pretty much just like that beginning scene. Like everything else, I'm just kind of Like I didn't mind it when I first watched it years ago, or when it first came out. But like as the years have gone on, I just kind of like that opening scene is pretty much the selling point.
Yeah, legit. Like, and that's the vacation part of it. Backcountry is one that you and I watched together, and that's the one that's based out here in Ontario. Filmed outside of Barrie, and it's about a couple that goes backpacking in like rural Ontario, and it's not fucking far off from what could happen. Now we don't have grizzlies here, so that's a little over. I think it's a black bears that would be chasing them, but it's pretty fucking accurate to what would go down. I always thought that was a really good survival horror film. I don't know if you dug that one, but I really liked that one a lot.
I really dug that one.
It was really good. You really got behind the main chick and the guy. You really wanted them to make it. I don't even remember who makes it now. I don't remember if they both do or one does. I think one dies.
Yeah, I think the boyfriend gets mauled, but I think the woman gets out alive.
I think she survives, but in the actual true story, it was reverse.
Oh, okay.
He survived and she died, but I think they changed it around because that ending was so depressing that I think people prefer to see a female survive and the guy die than the other way around. I could be wrong. I thought that was something we learned when we researched it years ago. But another one that I always really dug was The Ruins. And for someone like you who's going on this cruise, I don't know. Do you have one where you're going to go see a Mayan temple or an old temple or anything like that?
No. Most of the ones that I'm going on are just kind of like sites of the island, just like a tour bus type thing. And then might do go to an old waterfall that goes into a pool, but nothing with like.
Well, there could be something creepy there, and be like the fucking ruins. Don't climb up anything or touch anything you're not supposed to, Scott.
Yeah, I was gonna say,
you don't want bad juju coming your way.
I was like, because this is one of the movies I was gonna bring up, because this movie is fucking creepy.
What do you think about it? Let's hear what you like.
Oh, I just love this movie, for the fact that once again, typical disrespectful North Americans going up onto this Mayan temple that they should not be going up on. Like, I think it's, if I remember correctly, it was closed off to public.
Yeah.
And of course, being who they are, they go up there, and then those fucking creepy ass plants just kind of take over, and it's so good, and it's so just hard to watch sometimes, and
then they can't leave the temple because they're now sacrifices, right?
Yep.
So they try to leave, and then the locals are like, "No, you're the fucking sacrifice. Like, too fucking bad. Like, this is how this shit's going down now."
I think it's because they were infected. I think
was it also because they were infected? Okay, and that's why too, or wasn't they weren't sacrifices?
I think they ended up being forced to be sacrifices because they were like, well, you can't leave now because you're infected.
Right. Yeah. Good, solid vacation horror film. If people have missed it, it's a good one from 2000, because we get a lot from the 2000s of like teenage or preteen or like college like kids going on a trip, and I think this was one of the ones that really stood out as a really, really good film. Does Dexty need to go outside?
Not that I notice. I'm kind of keeping an eye on him. So far, he's fine.
He's so cute. Yeah, Dexy's is like, you guys talking about vacation horror. Like, I know my papa's leaving soon.
I'm gonna be
He's going on vacation. Right. This is a guilty pleasure. It's Turistas, 2006.
Oh, this movie was fun.
Oh man, with this, you know what my favorite part of this movie is so there's a scene where they party on the fucking beach, and they wake up the next morning. The girl's like, "Oh my god, they took our my jewelry and my rings," and the guy's like, "No, they took our fucking passports." Like, he's the one that's like,
"Yeah,
we're in big trouble now because we don't have any fucking passports." And then they're trying to like get out of the situation, and it's fucked up, and they're basically going to be harvested and all this other shit. I fucking love this movie. And yet again, it's from the 2000s, and it's those college kids going away and shit happening. But I just dig it. It's such a guilty pleasure. I really, really do like this movie.
Yeah, this is one that I ended up watching when for one of the first time watches around 2020, and yeah, I really dug it. Like, because that shit could happen.
Yeah, and it probably does happen, right? Yeah. Like, it's like Hostel. You're kind of like, maybe that's not too far from the truth. I would not be shocked if there wasn't some kind of underground like that. Afflicted, 2013, great found footage, excellent backpacking across Europe. The vampire film, fucking great example. A, of found footage done right, and B, of fucking vacation horror done right. Now, that has never happened to me on my travels in Europe, but like, you are an outsider walking around a country, and it does, present that kind of outsider mentality. The Descent, 2005, I think we're all big fans of the ladies going away on their weekend, cave diving experience that goes wrong. And guilty pleasure, The Sand, 2015. I actually don't mind that B movie. I think it's fucking entertaining.
Oh, it is definitely entertaining. It's cheesy, right? But it's entertaining.
It's so cheesy. Like, so for people who haven't seen The Sand 2015, it's available on Tubi. Basically, it's a bunch of these college kids that are partying on the sand one night. They wake up and they realize that the sand has basically become like an alien and is trying to eat them. And it's them trying to get off of the sand. They can't touch the sand. They can't, go on the sand, or they're going to be killed. And fuck, it's a really fun fucking movie for 2015 B sci-fi flick. I do enjoy that vacation film. Now, which ones do you want to bring that your guilty pleasure travel films, or ones you just really dig?
All right, well, yeah. So whenever I think of vacation films, like, first thing I always think of are the types of vacations I normally take, which are like, cabin in the woods style. So of course we have The Evil Dead and The Cabin in the Woods. And Eden Lake.
Oh, fuck, Eden Lake. What a creepy, sad, heartbreaking film right there. Hard one to rewatch, Eden Lake.
Yeah, that one is like the most, like, out of those three, that one is the toughest to watch of them, because that one is just fucked. Like, but I just love the idea of just like, cabin in the woods, surrounded by nothing, and then shit going wrong. And then I went for another one that is more of a, well, you are not in your own territory anymore, and you are dealing with a completely different culture, and that is Midsommar.
Yes, very much so.
That one is just holy shit, scary and terrifying, but also just shows how disrespectful you can be to someone's culture, whether you mean to be or not, and how bad that can go for you if you do. Then we have like other ones like another Cabin in the Woods one, Honeymoon.
Yeah.
They go away on vacation in Canada.
Very good one. Very good one, actually.
Yeah, another one just getting lost in the woods and shit happening there. And we have Wrong Turn, getting lost in the woods again. See,
Yeah.
there's a theme with me. The whole woods thing, it works.
What about The Hills Have Eyes? We haven't talked about that yet, but they're on vacation, right?
Yeah, I was going to say the family is on their way to their vacation destination.
Yeah.
And yeah, that one is also quite terrifying.
You could even say Open Water as well. It's Jaws, Open Water 2, all the open waters are all vacation based.
Yep,
but what about Jaws?
Jaws is like there's vacationers on the island because it's a touristy destination, but like the characters you're following live there. So they live there. Yeah, I went vacation.
I agree.
But yeah, then obviously ones we've talked about on the podcast for our vacation horror, like the Beach House and stuff like that. Like I know you were not as big of a fan of that one, but that is definitely one of my more guilty pleasures. I enjoyed the shit out of that one.
Oh no, that was a good quality film. I just wasn't a huge person on it, but it was a good movie.
And then there was what was it? The Breed with the pack of wolves.
Yeah, that was fun. That was a fun.
Where they're trapped in their cabin because of all these wolves hunting them.
Yeah, oh shit! You made me think of something else. The Rental was recently a vacation horror. Neither one of us were too high on that one, but it was a good example of Airbnb. Same with The Perfect Host, another vacation horror one that we were both big fans of.
Tucker and Dale versus Evil is another one.
Yeah. There's a lot of vacation horror, but it's interesting. I'll go over it so quickly. We covered them all. So the only ones I have here, the 10 best tourist on vacation horror movies ranked according to IMDb. Revenge was one that they had on here, which I guess that's technically a vacation because she goes away with her rich boyfriend and then finds out that he's like a big piece of shit. Eden Lake, Us, which is true. They're away on vacation.
Yep.
You said Cabin in the Woods, Midsommar, The Descent, we said. House, 1977. House follows seven schoolgirls
that one. Oh, boy.
On vacation like no other. They travel to their aunt's homes and turn out to be possessed by the strangest of spirits. So that's kind of cool.
Have you seen that one yet? Oh my god.
No.
That movie is fucking insanely bonkers.
Oh yeah?
It's not scary. It's more just like, what the fuck am I watching?
It's weird.
It is nuts. House Sue is one of those where it's just like, I don't know what the fuck's going on, but dear God, this is enjoyable.
That's cool. Maybe I'll have to check it out. We have The Evil Dead, which you already acknowledged. The Texas Chainsaw Massacre, original, 1974.
See, I wasn't sure. I was looking at that one, but I'm not sure that'd be considered vacation. I know they were going
on a road trip.
Yeah, they're on a road trip, but because they weren't really technically on a vacation. They were just going to, I think it was their grandpa's house after he passed away and just kind of looking it over. So I didn't really.
And they were traveling, right? It's kind of like Jeepers Creepers. Would you consider that vacation horror? Because they're traveling, right? Home. That's not really a vacation.
Yeah, I don't remember like why they were traveling in Jeepers.
Yeah, but they're coming home from school.
Was that okay?
He picked her up from school, or she picked him up from school. It was something like that. Because they were siblings, right?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, that makes sense.
And then the first one is The
Reef.
Go ahead.
Is another one.
The Reef, another shark one that's actually quite good for the vacation horror piece. And the final one on this list here is The Shining.
Oh yeah.
Which
I mean, it is a vacation in a way.
Yeah, right. It's kind of a loose list, but it's funny. So we've shot out a whole bunch of ones. We've talked about resorts. I Still Know What You Did Last Summer was vacation horror. They went away to some resort, if you recall, right? Interestingly, we don't have a lot of really good cruise ship horror.
I was just wondering. I was going to look that up, but yeah, like I didn't see because I was trying to think of any. I'm like, I don't think I know of any.
Like technically, the Poseidon Adventure or Poseidon is a adventure one. Now there is the one about the boat, the triangle, where the chick keeps repeating her like time over and over again. But
also Titanic 666.
Titanic 666. But I think that's why with Final Destination 6 coming up on the cruise ship, I'm so excited for this because we do occasionally get, like, I guess you could look at boat horror usually involves sharks. Like the ones where they jump off the boat and forget to put the ladder down and they're fending off the elements and the sharks. The boat breaks down, the boat has some kind of ghostly presence on it. But I'm really interested to see what Final Destination 6 does.
Yeah, because I already have a feeling that, the cruise ship will be the catalyst for death stalking everybody. So I think that will be the beginning shock moment, and then that'll be it.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think we'll be on the cruise ship after that, unless they do something different here. But
yeah, it'd be interesting to see what happens if that's even where the big scene is.
Right,
and they like implode and stuff. I'm kind of interested to see how that's going to work.
Yeah, because I'm kind of curious to see if they still follow the typical Final Destination formula of like one major event and that happens, or if it's something else and then they go on a cruise and then that's when death is stalking them. I don't know. I'm very curious.
Now I know we're probably having people yell at us right now. Jason Takes Manhattan. Yes, that does take place on a boat. It is a slasher on a boat. Yep. So yes, we can acknowledge that. Though I wouldn't say that's vacation. They're just going on there for a night of dancing.
Well, it is because they're a school trip.
Oh, they're supposed to go to New York. Yes, right.
Or a school trip to Vancouver, shall we say?
Yes, right. So it's a lot of fun vacation horror movies out there, and I think vacation always sets the stage for cool shit. Whether it's going to a foreign country, going to a resort, going to the local cabin in the woods, going on some road trip, running into some hillbillies. Hopefully that doesn't happen to Scott when he's on his cruise, but I am interested to see what Final Destination 6 comes out this year with. I'm pretty pumped.
Same. I'm very curious to because that is like the movie I'm very excited to like see what it is.
Yeah, and it's like such a guilty pleasure. I feel like Final Destination movies are such a guilty pleasure, and we just love that shit so much. So we will be back at the end of February. So stay tuned, everyone. We will not be recording our next episode until, pull up my handy little calendar here, realistically February 24th. So we will have several weeks off that you will not hear our beautiful booming voices, but no fear. We will return and you will be hearing us on March 3rd. And we will be coming with the back attack of 18 billion 2023s. So buckle up, Buttercup.
Here's hoping.
We're gonna be talking about a whole bunch of 2023s. There's lots of shit being dropped in February. You know, we just had to get through the January lull and get back to the good shit. So as always, you can find us on the Legion Podcast Network. We were underneath the Kill the Cast feed. If you like what you hear and you would like to hear more from the Legion Podcast Network, we recommend that you become a Patreon. As a Patreon, you can do lots of cool things. You can get codes and early access to episodes. And if for some reason you're not a Patreon yet for $3 a month, Scotty has one question that he needs to ask. And we're going to do I Still Know What You Did Last Summer version of this. So go on, Scott.
What are you waiting for? What are you waiting for? How come you haven't signed up yet? What are you waiting for? Please, we beg you, join us. Join us. What are you waiting for?
Because we still know you haven't signed up yet, so become a Patreon member with us today. As always, please listen to some of the excellent shows on the Legion Patreon network. Darren Wilson's Psychosemantic podcast is one of them. Also, our good friends at Exploding Heads, Dave C. and Christian, you can become a Patreon and listen to them, as well as Dummies of Horror, This Horror Life, and Slasher Radio. All of those are done with Tim Davis and Daniel and Rob Humphreys and friends. And we encourage everyone to support those shows because they're awesome. Is there anyone's show that we didn't shout out? Oh, and of course, the Cemetery Gates podcast with Sandra Kane and Android Virus.
Yeah.
You can find that as well. If you want to listen to someone that's a lot smarter, listen to Sandra Kane and Darren. They're, I wouldn't say the other three. Dave and Christian are pretty smart. They're okay. But the other three, like, nah. Like, Dave and Christian are, like, on par with us, right? So, like, and then there's, like, the step below, and I'd be like Rob Humphreys, right? So, like, you just have to kind of keeping it real. Keeping it real here on Friday Night News.
Guys, just know Heather is doing all the shit talking. I'm just going to sit back and just listen.
Well, that's because they call me a bitch all the time. Wait, the bitch.
That bitch.
That bitch. That, meaning I'm special. That's what I take for that.
Exactly.
Any last words you have to say, Scotty, before you take off on your adventurous cruise, which we wish you the best and hope you have the best time ever?
Oh, thank you very much. But, yeah, thank you all for giving us a listen and continuing to support us. We are 3/4 of a way through a century of episodes. Haha. And I look forward to coming back and having it be my turn to talk about my trip and all the shenanigans I get up to on there.
I'm the captain now, Heather.
I'm your captain now. But yes, so yeah, thank you all, and until next time, unpleasant dreams.
See you later, alligator. After a while, crocodile.